darle un golpe con la silla.
Sí,
por
sí,
ahí
sí,
así.
sigue
Perfect.
perfecto, sigue perfecto.
Okay, there it is.
Perfect.
I have a good light to work. This is the height that I need. I generally work with a palette,
Ya que no vio, ¿verdad? No veo
a
nada.
tablet
Ahí vas a ver.
to use it as a reference, to see that reference image, and I always use arm like this so that I can push the image exactly near my eyes. You guys won't see this because you will see my back, but every 5 or 10 seconds my eyes are going to the reference image, because whatever question I have or whatever I want to know of, how to solve the color, the form, or whatever, the answer is right here. I don't want to be inventing things. I'm not painting, surrealistic way. I'm trying to achieve realism, so I always keep my mind on the reference image. That's an advice. Don't lose your reference image. Now the other question would be, what is better? A bad quality reference image or a good quality? So try to do your best to have a good print or a good screen, have it nearby you, and the reason that I use an iPad or a tablet is that I can do this, and I go into detail, and I go around and I solve small details, texture, colors, contrast, or whatever. So I am playing around with the size of the image when I'm looking at the reference. I tend to use Dropbox. You guys know that app, because I work with the images in the computer. I use Photoshop to edit the images, and then I just push them. I put them in Dropbox, and instantly they are synchronized with the app, and I can have crops of the image. For example, like this. This is a cropped area that if I want to go and zoom closer with this image, I can do it. But if you're working with a full-size image and you go zoom in, there's a limit. The app doesn't let you go further. That is why I make cutouts in Photoshop, and I have 3 or 4 different zoomed areas so that I can go like this to a fully detailed. See? And then this is the other image I was talking about. I suppose that you saw it. This is an effect that the software gave me. I don't want to replicate it exactly, but since it happens to me, I don't know if it happens to you, I don't have the ability for the moment to synthesize objects, colors in my mind, reinterpret from reality, and change things to make it look blurry. Sometimes I have a hard time, looking at something crisp and bright and twisting it in my mind and painting it like a blurry effect. So what do? Well, I take advantage of the tools that are there, and I do the effect that I want, and it's easier for me to try to copy that effect, and I have had a better result. Also, if you guys work with a tablet, there is a really nice, and it's not so expensive, app called Procreate. I don't know if you have heard about it. I purchased that app, and I also purchased the Apple Pencil, and oh my god, I thought I was wasting money when I did it, and actually that was on February this year when I went to Dubai. I saw that on the airport, and it was a good price because you don't pay taxes and whatever, and I had 1 year thinking if I should purchase or not, and I was there and I just purchased the pencil, and I started working with it, and I saw some videos, and oh my god, let me show you. This is the app.
Ese es su juguete nuevo.
Yes, and look, this is the gallery of some things that I have done. This is a photograph of my daughter. It's not a painting. It's just working with a pencil, giving an effect, working with pastels and blurring out the image And this is like a really good example of what I was trying to say over there, where if you see this image on maybe certain distance, the image gives you the feel of what's important. You don't need detail in the hair, you don't need detail on the glasses, you don't need detail on the hand, basically this hand, because it's on the border of the canvas, and I want my eye to focus on where the light is and this area, so I don't need too much detail on the watch. This is just an example of, okay, how much detail do you need in the painting so that it transmits you an emotion? You get rid of all the detail in the surroundings, and if the composition, if the model is giving you something, it will give it to you anyway. You don't need all the details. So right now I am struggling as an artist in a personal level of trying to fix my mind to see in a better way and not to intend, and this is an advice, I've been struggling with that for years. Don't try to copy the images just the way you see a photograph. Otherwise you'll be a really good copyist. Is that the word? Copista? The goal is not to be precise on copying an image. The goal is to have the tools as an artist to reinterpret that image and make a new one with your decisions of what you're taking out and what you are adding. Maybe it's light, maybe it's elements, maybe it's lines, compositions, or I don't know. You need to have the foundations to take those decisions and reinterpret. That is the goal for me, to reinterpret. So this tool, the softwares, the pencil, and what everything is going into my mind is taking me that way. This looks like a painting, but it's actually not a painting. As I said, it's oh, I'm painting over it. Okay. See, there's no detail in the hand, and it's not painted. It's just working over the photograph. But you don't need more detail. So I do this so that I can force myself to try to paint like this, and then the result is really nice, because on a digital version I made the corrections that I need to lose out some detail, and when I am trying to copy, as I am a good copyist, but sometimes I have struggles in my mind that I can't, deform the form and the color. Well, I push myself to copy something that is already deformed digitally, which I did, and it's working for me. So this is one image. Let me show you another. For example, this is a photograph of a model I painted recently. It's the painting, I still have it in my studio. It was a really nice result. I added shadow all around. The actual photo was a bit lighter, and working on the composition, you can see I got rid of all the detail and the sharp edges which were on the image. But during this effect, I am not trying to imitate a photograph. I am not pleased when people look at my paintings and they say, "Oh, really nice, that looks like a photograph." You see, I used to pursue that 7-8 years ago, but once I got into that point, now that comment, I know that people are trying to say that I am really good at what I am doing, but I am not fully pleased at it. So what I am trying to do right now is leave brush strokes and lose my hand. Right? My hand was really stiff. I was always trying to imitate and detail and copy reality. Now I'm trying to go push on the other direction, not completely. Some areas I do want to fool the eye and make it think that it's looking at something that is real, that is three-dimensional, but in other areas I want to lose my hand and just paint like brush strokes, so that when you see actually the painting, you don't even feel that it is a photograph. You're not tricked because you see the brush strokes. So I'm trying to find really a nice balance between reality and loose brush strokes so that I can create something new. That is something that I am working on. These ¿cómo se dice estos últimos años?
Past years.
Yeah. This is something else. This is a painting that we are working right now in a online workshop, and we have been painting this for 8 classes, 2 more classes to go next month. But this effect right here, as you can see, it's made in the app to force me and to force the students to concentrate on details on this area, to concentrate on details on this area, but what's not important, like the dress, it's, you know, like really loose brushstrokes. So that is what I am trying to do right now. So I recommend you guys, if you have a tablet like this, purchase the pencil and purchase this app and start playing around with it. You can find a lot of information on YouTube and you can learn that way. Let's go into this Dropbox. As you can see here in Dropbox, I have organized, you know, in images to paint. I have all the folders and different paintings that I am working on. For example, here, this is a painting that I am working currently. It's a large painting. This is going to be the result. And these are like zooms so that you can go into detail when you're painting the basket. And it's really useful to use a computer, use a tablet, and communicate between them with Dropbox. And you have everything like organized on folders. For here, workshops, this is San Diego 2023, and here we have the image. Okay? So I know this is not something to do with painting, but it's
an important tool, yeah.
technological issue that I can share with you. Maybe save some time. So, okay, here we are. We have the pink. Let's add some liquid. I always add 2 portions of liquid on my palette, on the left and on the right. Why? Because I want to keep the medium clean. I will use the right portion of the liquid to mix with dark colors, and this portion to mix it with lighter colors. Also, always...
Una pausa. En la paleta pone 2 porciones de liquid, uno para los oscuros, otro para los claros.
Sí.
Isabel,
I
¿no
need to
tienes
pick up
pregunta?
some brushes. Let's see.
Sí.
This, this,
Ah, sí está firme.
this, and this.
Y yo me atravesé eso.
And maybe some rounds. Every time I pick up a brush, I tend to pick at least 2 of the same. Why? Sometimes I use 3. 1 for lights, 1 for mediums, and 1 for shadows. I am, you know, changing the brushes, and that way I don't have to be cleaning the brush if I'm going to go from light colors to dark colors. Otherwise, if you stick only to 1, if you don't want to get the color dirty, you need to clean the brush. But when you have, you know, like 2, okay, light and mediums, and medium and darks. So I have 2 rounds and 2 synthetic filberts and 2 redhead filberts for right now. So 6 brushes. I don't know if I'm going to use them all, but those are my selection right now. Here. Now, let's start. One of my objectives always is to start with the dark colors. Even though when I paint figurative, I always start rendering dark areas, and then I call this process the color mapping. Building up the pieces like if it was a puzzle, only laying down stains of color. First I work with dark colors and then midtones, and at the end I start adding the lights. So that is what I am going to try to do right now. I don't want to start painting different areas of color right now. I want to show you guys a quick process of solving out with 1 color, like making a grisalla. Have you heard about grisalla? No. La grisalla es una técnica de pintura donde resuelves en monocromo. No quiere decir que sea blanco y negro, puedes usar sepia, puedes usar otro tono, pero con un color, haciendo degradados, empiezas a resolver la figura, el claroscuro de una manera como muy rápida y empiezas a construir. You start to construct the image with one color as a grisaille, like an underpainting, to do it like a bit fast, and you start to work out the volumes and the shadows and lights. So right now I want to show you guys how to do that. I'm going to pick up this color. Let's take some liquid. Oh, I forgot. There's where is it? I'm going to use this, and I'm going to add, this is turpentine, okay? In Spanish we call it aguarrás, which is the same thing as esencia de trementina. This is, you can clean the brush with this, or you can even thin the paint without adding